So I would definitely consider it jazz fusion because I like a little bit of everything. And I'm really heavily influenced by a lot of jazz. And I know jazz is not the most popular thing in the world nowadays, but so that's kind of why I like to kind of throw like some maybe some rock in there, maybe some R&B and soul, and just try to get as much as I can in there without being too much.
Yeah,
But yeah, definitely I'll say jazz fusion.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I've de- actually I've been getting into more a little bit classical.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the movements and the emotion behind classical music. I because I don't know, to me it is very emotional. The sonatas, all the different parts, and then the melodies, the counter melodies. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's like another blueprint, of how to make music that a lot of people got away from. Corey Henry, a lot of his music is definitely like more so like emotion based, especially the way he talks about it. So I try to dive more into like if he's playing this certain chord, like what is he feeling behind it, and like where is it going. From someone like Duke Ellington, a lot of his blues, it's like the roots of like where you come from. Because I guess back in his day, things weren't always the best for a lot of us. But just the way he kind of like takes that and kind of transforms it. So specifically for my imagination, so like I had the first two chords down, which is what you hear in the beginning of the song. So I didn't really know what to do with those chords, but I just really liked those chords. I was like, man, I want to do something to them. So like every time I came back to it, I was like, I'm not getting nothing there. Um, but definitely, it's very inspiration based, at least for me, because I don't want to force something out of nothing. I don't want to like force myself to like just let me just do this, and then I might not be feeling it. I might come up with something and I'm like, I don't really like it. What can like what can I don't know. Just trying to figure out like what type of melody. Okay, how does that make me feel? Like where can I exactly go with that. So I just had this idea, and it kind of made me this kind of made me feel a little hopeful, like kind of a little hopeful and anxious, like what's going on after this? Yeah, exactly. So then
Near the end, right? You're kind of in the groove, and then it switches to that part, right? That little funny part, like do 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 do. You know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So it seems like you kind of like work off of like emotion a lot. So like, what emotion do you think you were going for, like with that part?
I'm trying to think of a feeling because there is a feeling behind it. I can think of it's like this feeling of a like relaxed, not more so after the part.
Right.
During the part, it was like just this burst, like exactly, yeah, like a little kid, like sees like they finally get to play the video game, and now like after it, it's like now we're good. Yeah.
That's interesting how it can be perceived so differently. Because I would have thought like what I was thinking was definitely something more like funny or like even like confusing, because it like throws you off.
And I think that's a big beauty of like jazz and jazz fusion specifically because it's like you already have this mixture, right? So it's like why not just like a little lemon pepper, just like whatever, just anything you can, just because you can. So that was awesome.
Well, definitely back then it had much of a bigger role. During like 60s, or you can probably even start like 1920s. Because I was obviously I was a big time jazz, gospel, blues. Definitely was definitely more of a prevalent role than it is now. And to some capacity, it still is. Definitely like I'll say probably another big inspiration I didn't mention Stevie Wonder. He was like that guy that knew how to make a song, with all these complex ideas and make it sound so simple and still be considered popular music. There's not too many artists I know that can kind of do that in that way. But